My brothers and sisters, let's get down to business. I am called Doshanko, otherwise known as He at the Beginning, and welcome to my temple. I mentioned this before, but I'm doing a little bit of a reboot. Now, for people who may view my channel for the first time, I am a published author. I am the author of A Child with a Dragon's Heart novel series, and while I only have one book out from this series, I am working on multiple books ahead before I publish the next. Since I'm already like a relatively newer indie author, there's much to learn about the marketing and drawing a newer and larger audience. The novel series genre garners around spiritual, sci-fi, action, and adventure. I related much to Avatar: The Last Airbender and Star Wars in its level of world building and characters. My installment, Savant the First Mountain, exists on Amazon both as a Kindle and hard copy. It entails the journey of a child monk called Asura of a Dragonfly, and with steadfast companions they journey across multiple realms, physical and spiritual, to learn from and gather powerful celestial beings in order to defeat a multiverse level threat. Read the book and leave reviews. Like, seriously, no, like, do that. Positive or negative, it will assist the product. I intend to use my love in gaming to increase and possibly draw in new readers. I am starting with Call of Duty. Now, I know Ghost is a relatively hated game for a good reason. The previous incarnations set the bar very high for players. It was not bad, but a lot of the mechanics were dull and made its input for gameplay harder than what it needed to be. That said, there was something on here that made me love this game, flaws and all. I know that I find cross-map and bank shot throwing knife and noob tube spots, as well as hitting them online, learning from the OGs who first started the trend a decade ago. That in itself is a dead art across many of the installments nowadays, and the lobbies I enter treat me like a legend because of how often I do such. But that's not what made me fall in love with Ghost. I fell in love with the game mode called Safeguard, which is on the squad section after you get to the main menu. Not many, if any, people play on that section. But here's the thing. When I used to play this game on PS3, I kept getting deranked by modders, so I played Safeguard, more specifically Safeguard Infinite, to collect all the squad points that I needed, away from those who wreak havoc on multiplayer. That's not the only reason though. I was the biggest fan of Modern Warfare 3 survival mode, where you could test your ability to survive against hordes of enemies that shoot back in the standard of maps, and the DLC maps as well. You can do this with one player or yourself. On there you would have a mini-map, weapons catches for guns, kill streaks and equipment, and you could buy what you needed. The enemies had flinching animations every time they were shot or flashed, stunning them enough in order to make a hasty retreat if needed. There were helicopters, juggernauts, dogs, and a variety of different men to face on foot. On that mode, one perk made all the difference, and not that Ghost version didn't, but I'll get to that in a second. MW3 Survival could go on for an infinite amount of waves for any player that was determined and tough enough. You can pause the game as well to take a break as much as needed. There were leaderboards for individual maps for solo and team gameplays, and I didn't do too shabby, during my time on that game. Now back to Safeguard. On this mode, you cannot buy your ammunition, and you only start off with a pistol, no matter what map you are on. There were a lot of dynamics that made this mode 10 times harder than the MW3 Survival. For one, removing the mini-maps made this mode the most difficult. If you do not know where your enemies are, and they are in such numerous amounts, it forces you to do one of the two things. Place yourself in locations where your enemies' routes are predictable, and or prevent them from taking you out from behind or lapping around the map, taking out the stragglers until you pass the wave. Safeguard Infinite only goes up to 100 waves, but you can have up to 4 players and can have the choice to play by yourself, and you can play this mode on every map if possible. You can do a private match in order to do the maps Chasm, Stonehaven, and Siege, because otherwise you can't really access them like that. Everything you will get comes in care packages that drop when your support drop is meter. Support drop is meter? Oh my goodness! Support drop meter in white gets full, or when a loot wave is present. A loot wave starts off every game and cycles around every 5 waves. You face 5 types of enemies: regular grunts who wield shotguns, armored grunts who fire minimal damaging Semtex and riot shielders. So like your ammo will be in the green crates, in which you can double tap square to change into such twice, or usually on every wave there will be one enemy who will drop an ammo restock. Only one though, so you have to make your rounds count. This restock will refill your team's ammo if you have one, as well as completely regenerate your health in the split second you're taking substantial damage. If you don't have either of those at the time, you must fall back on strategy and resilience. You have to familiarize yourself with the map and prepare yourself to be challenged. There is no flinch animation for enemies except when you hit them with your stun grenade, and shooting your targets will only push them backwards but not stun them. Your perks that you will need also depend on the map and strategy you use, though on certain maps you need some perks more urgently than others. Sleight of hand, marathon, speed, fast health regen, and trigger happy are the most important ones. And I'll throw sprint reload a bone if you don't have trigger happy. Now what is trigger happy? It is a safeguard exclusive perk where as long as you kill an enemy before you need to reload, you can continuously fire without the reload animation taking place, but it is not infinite ammo, so keep that in mind. These enemies can knife you and corner you easily in high waves, or oftentimes I rarely seen single player gameplays of getting the high waves. So I bought every single DLC on this game and said to myself, I'm going to practice the hardest map and get to wave 40. Took me tons of times to practice until I can consistently do such. This map was Showtime, the remake of Shipment from Modern Warfare. It had the same central structure, but there was the added bonus of the route of outer walls. That way I could evade my enemies and take cover if possible. Then, when I made it to wave 40 or over, I said, I'm going to try getting to wave 50 on my own. And once I did that, I began finding a strategy to do so for every single map. The average player is expected to survive at least 20 waves, so I doubled my expectations, and now it will lead to world record level gameplays. Hope you guys enjoy my strategies and run. Now on with the gameplays.